Good. So my name is Senia Cuevas. I am the Division Head of Small Businesses for Middlesex County Government, and I will be facilitating this panel about money. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you all for your time, and we're ready to get started. So I would like to give each of our panelists about 2 minutes to get started. Let us know about yourself, the organization that you're representing, and we'll go from there.
Ladies always first.
Oh man, thank you so much.
Yes.
Hi, my name is SBA-backed. I'm the VP of the Columbia Bank. I'm working as a market manager, managing 14 branches. So most of the time I spend in my car visiting the branches and complaining about New Jersey traffic as coming here today in the morning. Probably one of my things that I would like to share about myself is I love to develop the connections with my business customers. I like to know them on a personal level, help them with their banking, and anything, whatever they need. During my 21 years at Columbia Bank, I developed a huge book of business and another large group connections of professionals that I have been working with. Many of my business customers became my friends because I was so involved with them, so I'm so happy to be here and meet you guys all.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
thank you. My name is Victor Salama. I'm the Executive Director of Greater Newark Enterprises Corporation, or GNEC for short. We are a CDFI, which is a Community Development Financial Institution. And if you don't know what a CDFI is, my suggestion is that you do read about them. We're about 1,000 organizations throughout the United States that offer micro business loans and technical assistance to underserved and underbanked communities, particularly the micro business owner. So that's what we do, and even though we're based in Newark, we work now throughout New Jersey, but we help any type of business. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but we are really excited. I'm excited to be here because for us, the connection with our clients, to see them, first survive, then sustain, and then grow, that's what we're all about. So thank you for the time, Cindy, and looking forward to the conversation.
Good afternoon. My name is Luis de la Hoz. I'm the Director of Community Lending for Valley Bank. This is a department that we started 2 years ago, and we focus on how we can attract minorities to access to capital. Did you know that more than 8,000 small businesses get declined every single day when they apply for loans? And that's because of two main reasons. One is lack of personal credit history and lack of collateral. What we developed is a platform that would allow us to offer loans up to $100,000 based on personal credit history that allow business owners to get prepared to get access to money. Less than 10% of minority business owners in the state of New Jersey own the place where they perform the business, and our goal is to help them to increase that to 20%, because that's the best way that we have to generate wealth on our communities. Latinos start businesses more than any other communities just out of necessity, but the main reason is because we have 5 more chances to save money if we start a business rather than if we have a job, unless the job is at Middlesex County.
Yeah.
And I'm unofficial, the cheerleader of Choose New Jersey and NJDA, Return Information. Those are great organizations that assist our communities to get access to the information and to get access to capital in a different way. And I'm a former recovered CDFI individual for more than 10 years.
Thank you so much for that. And I think that the next logical question to ask is, why is capital important for small businesses? I'll get started with Libby, if I choose.
Well, like anything else, you need to have money to invest into something and start with something. I mean, you're not going to be able to open a business without having some money down, or you're not buy inventory, or I don't know, pay for a lease or whatever you need to have. So that's why it's important to have something that you can invest and start your own business.
For me, one of the things we talk about a lot is historical equity building. It's very hard to do that without capital. And in terms of equity, how can you build equity? Either by owning a home, either by owning stocks and bonds and all that. But those are very tough to get at, and it's hard to start. So for us, having equity in a business is really critical for a way to pass on potentially generational wealth. Having that initial stage capital is critical. Most of us don't have that within our family or network of friends. So being able to provide that via traditional banking or through a CDFI is, I think, critical means of having people, not only strengthen themselves, but strengthen future generations as well, and neighborhoods, of course.
I mean, access to capital is the most important need. But I want to share something. The best way to finance your business is through your customers. Financial institutions, we are here to help you to grow. Nobody will offer you 100% of what you need if you don't have skin in the game, right? You need to prove that you are able to repay the loan if you want access to a loan. Now, it's easier to get $1 million if you are buying a building rather than $50,000 working capital, just because the building becomes the collateral. And when you are asking for a small amount of money, usually it's because you don't have any collateral to offer. That's why it's important for small businesses to purchase a house, because that's usually the first option that we have to offer collateral. And the other thing is that not many small business owners know how much money they can afford. Usually they get declined because they are asking for $100,000 when they can only qualify for $50,000, right? At the platform that we develop, we are able to make a counter offer and tell the customer, like, listen, as today, the maximum that you can afford is $30,000. If you are able to do something meaningful with $30,000, a year from now or 6 months from now, we will be able to consider you for a higher amount. And the other thing is that you need to understand what do you need the money for. Is because you are purchasing equipment, is because you are purchasing inventory, is because you need working capital to pay payroll, because you don't want to get a term loan to pay for inventory, or you don't want to get a line of credit to pay for a building, because that's not the right financial vehicle in order for you to satisfy the needs.
That's great. And just to put this conversation into perspective, over 90% of businesses in the United States are small businesses. So we're talking about lifelines of communities, right? I mean, we just experienced this with COVID. Large companies are able to weather storms, but we do see what happens to neighborhoods and communities when small businesses are not able to remain open and to thrive, to create jobs and offer that for the residents of communities. But I think that you both brought up a great point, which actually I'll turn into a question. Why is it important to bank with a small local bank, a bank in your community? What would you say?
Ladies always first. I mean, I have 3 at home.
I think we're going to keep the order. It's going to be Libby, Victor, Luis.
So my husband owns his small business as well. So he owns his home improvement company. And us coming to this country, and English is my second language, and then trying to help him and build a company, I really realized through COVID how important it is to bank with a small company. Obviously, you have to have your own money as well, because the small banks were able to help the small businesses through the COVID. I mean, I was really thankful and grateful that we bank with Columbia Bank, because they help us to get the PPP loans but in the first phase and the second phase. Columbia Bank, through the COVID, we approved 2,200 loans, PPP loans, and saved over 400 jobs in New Jersey, because we understand how important it is for small businesses to survive, and not everybody has money that you need to invest, or you have to pay your bills, or whatever the needs were. And it was really bothersome to see, and I'm not talking about Valley, I'm not talking about anybody who is here, about the big banks that they just simply didn't answer the calls, or they could care less about the small businesses. You were just number for them. So if you didn't know anybody, or you didn't know somebody who knows somebody, it was really, really difficult to get any help. I remember I think it was in February, one day, my phone rang 47 times, and it was the customers who I had, or somebody who referred me through my customers and said, listen, I'm calling you if you can help me with PPP loan, because I know that you guys handling them. So I think it's really important to bank with the small banks, because you get that personal relationship and somebody that you can call and reach out, instead of being a number as you are at the big bank.
Great. And certainly, we are a small financial institution. But I think the important thing for us as a CDFI is we know our neighborhoods. So when someone comes to us and says, hey, I'm I don't know, 60 Pacific Street. I'll just pop in an address that we know. We know that neighborhood. We know that space. We know that area. We know the challenges. We know the marketplace. That's really critical because it's not only the lending part, it's the technical assistance part. When we meet a customer and we're able to provide them a loan, we wrap around technical assistance, whether it's bookkeeping services, whether it's web design, whether it's cash flow management services, because we understand what they're going through, at least within the neighborhood. We can partner, we can create partnerships between someone who we've met from a different part of the neighborhood with someone who we've just met. So I think it's critical. Having said that, there are also challenges for organizations like ourselves. We're only too focused on a neighborhood, because if there's a blip in that neighborhood, it affects a lot of things, financial institutions as well.
I just want to say that Choose New Jersey put a data out there called Monday Metrics that say that 97% of the businesses in the state of New Jersey are micro businesses. That means that they have less than 10 full-time employees. I used to say that was 92%, but they just make that public, and that was very important. But the reason, because you need to deal with a community bank, is relationships. You really want to bank with an institution that your business matters for them. Now, if you start a business without Bali and you grow your business without Bali, what do you need Bali for, right? The idea is that we can help you through the process when you grow. But sometimes financial institutions make decisions that we don't want to deal with a specific industry. That's when the relationship comes like a priority, because we refer people to other financial institutions and to other non-for-profits. Like recently, we did one loan with Ginec where the truck driver was trying to purchase his second truck, and we was not able to finance that. And we referred to Ginec, and they did a $85,000 loan for him to purchase the truck. Now that he owns two, now he will become a very interesting customer for us. Mm-hmm. But Bali is a $50 billion bank. We only have presence in New Jersey, New York, Alabama, and Florida. But they realized in the middle of the pandemic in 2021 that they was not doing a really good job trying to attract minorities. And that's when they decide to create the community lending. And now we are 11 people on the team. That's not just a statement, that's a commitment, because you cannot erase 11 people through 4 states from one day to another. Now, our goal is to assist those individuals, and in many cases it's just to help them to understand the concept of credit. The most important asset for a minority business owner is the personal credit score. Did you know that you can save up to $250,000 through your working life if you have a decent credit score? That could be the difference on getting a loan or not getting a loan, or getting a credit card or an auto loan and not getting a loan. Like recently when the NJEDA did the Main Street micro loan, the requirement was 600. Some people didn't qualify for 600. And many financial institutions will start at 640. And we believe that is reasonable, but it's not. When you, after a financial crisis, after a natural disaster, after the pandemic, some people have issues, but it's important to know that you can build and rebuild your credit at any given time, just doing a couple of good things.
Yeah, and just so you know, when we were putting this panel together, we wanted to make sure that we were giving you the opportunity to hear from different lenders, right? Smaller banks and a CDFI, so that you can see that there are different products available for your businesses. Bless you. Thank you. And my personal hope is that you get 2 things out of this panel. Number 1, relationships. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to get right into capital, because at the end of the day, relationships are super important, sometimes even more important than money. But money is what's going to get your business to the next level. So I want to make sure that we take on that role in that conversation.
You forgot to mention government agencies. And I mean, the role of the New Jersey Economic Development Authority and the Middlesex County during the pandemic was crucial, because the money that they was able to put out, just to give you a context, The NJEDA used to do 500 loans a year. During the pandemic, they did 70,000. Now, the main difference, and I was probably the only one who cried when I saw that they include micro business. That word was a game changer for a lot of our small businesses. Why? Because instead of us competing with over 1 million businesses, was 200,000 of us competing between each other, accessing that money. But when that money was not enough, that's when the Middlesex County kicked like a $30,000 grant. And people that are here today, that own businesses here in New Brunswick, are here and the doors are open thanks to those other alternatives lenders that provide support to those small businesses.
And I completely agree with that. And I think that during the pandemic and during disasters, right, government and grants are there to make sure that your businesses stay afloat. But at the end of the day, securing a loan is what makes your business profitable. If a bank is going to give you a loan, you have a business. You have a proven concept. So I want to make sure that we don't detract away from the conversation. Grants are important, right, to survive. But this is about growing and thriving. And I think that this panel is out here, which you can have a conversation with them afterwards to see where you are and where they can tell you.
When is the best time for a business to apply for a loan?
When they don't need it.
Right.
That's when they don't need it. Like when I get a call on Friday afternoon around 5 p.m., I look at the screen and I say, if I answer, this will cost me like money or time.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because everybody that calls us on a Friday afternoon is expecting that we will be able to disburse the money by Monday. Right? You can apply when you don't need it and use it when you do need it. Right? That's the main, and that's the other thing is, if you apply when you don't need it, and instead of 500,000, you only get 100,000. Now you know how much money you can afford. Now you can plan ahead. But as I say, a lot of people wait until the day before they are signing a contract, before the day that they need to make the payroll in order to apply. And we do a lot of good things, but we don't do miracles.
We hope you do. And again, getting right onto the conversation.
Not yet. I mean, we have been tried, but not yet.
If you can get a little bit more specific about the loan products that your specific institution offers, and go as, if you can share credit score information and like pre-qualification information, that'll be very helpful. Minimums and mats for some of the businesses, and then stages as well, right? Do you work with startups? Do you work with established businesses? How long does an entrepreneur have to be in business to be able to approach you for a loan, and then share any advice as to the application process?
So I think, before COVID and even throughout the COVID, some of the banks or the guidelines change. Some of the banks are very selective. Which industries do you want to lend? Not every industry would qualify for lending. Columbia Bank would take all the startup businesses as well. You would have to probably go through the SBA process, which we have a group of lenders that they do SBA lending. And then also we offer the construction loans, commercial line of credit, and any other loans. I mean, the score, I cannot tell you what is the score. It's different on each individual process, and also relationships. If you already have anything with Columbia Bank, how many guarantors you have, what is their personal score. So it's not one answer that can fit to everybody, but again, it's all about relationships that you have with the bank, and whatever business you have and needs, they can guide you the right way, what loans would be the best fit for you.
Thank you for that, Libby. Is there a minimum loan amount?
No, we don't know. It's not.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
I mean, for GNEC, since this is basically what we do in serving underserved and underbanked, we have three through analysis factors: credit, capacity, and collateral. Now, the collaterals, just since we're friends, I'm going to tell you, collateral is not that important for us. The credit score is actually not that important for us. It's the capacity to pay that's important for us. So what our team will do is gather financial data from you, analyze whether, as Luis said, some people ask for $150,000 and they can only afford $35,000. So we'll do that analysis and we'll put you in the right product. Our loans go as follows. We have a Dream Maker program. That is $15,000 and below. That's a much easier process because I actually get to approve those without anyone else kind of looking at things. I mean, obviously it's an underwriting process, and they'll provide it to me. Uncollateralized, basically. You know, our average credit score right now, and I just did the analysis of our lending portfolio for this year's 629, I believe, or somewhere around there. So we're well below sort of public company sort of thresholds. So we have the Dreammaker at $15,000. Then we have something called the Business Builder. Business Builder will go from $15,000 up to about $75,000. Now, both loans are usually for working capital. They're for equipment purchases, inventory, etc. We will work with startups. What we're really trying to do is work with people from underserved and underbanked communities. We look at low and medium income kind of statistics, and whether you have a lot of debt or low credit, we will work with you. We have a product now. If your business is in an opportunity zone, and as Luis mentioned, NJDA comes out with a lot of new products, there's the Main Street Lender Program that we are now a part of, and we give loans, I think, up to 5 years at very low interest with under this opportunity zone program. So that's the Main Street Lender Program. So those are the types of products that we have. And in terms of industry, we'll work with everyone except for SIN businesses, as they're called. But other than that, we have a highly diversified portfolio, and we also provide technical assistance if you come to us for lending.
Perfect.
For minority business on their community lending, we start at 5,000 and we go up to 100,000. But the average application right now is around 50,000. The average credit score starts at 640. We do most of the industries, includes cannabis. We do lend for multi-license, like people that operate cannabis license in different states, not just like the smallest player in the industry. But we focus on legal industries, basically. Now, sometimes what happens is regulators will call and say, you have a concentration of too many loans on this industry, you cannot lend anymore on that specific industry. Or the people that do the analysis will say, we have too many loans on this industry, let's stop lending on that specific industry for a few months until we improve our portfolio. Those things happen. And sometimes, we are hyper connected. If someone will come and express to us the right way and tell us the truth, no matter how hard it is, if you tell us, I don't have credit or I have bad credit, this happened to me, that's better than when we pull the credit and we figure it out this is something bad. Because community lenders are based on the relationship, right? And nobody will understand, but usually those programs that lend to people that doesn't necessarily have good credit, doesn't have all the financial information, they repay. They repay because they understand that if they don't repay, other people won't be able to get access to those funds, right? But it's important for you to tell us the truth. That's why the relationship is so important. If you come to a bank and you develop the relationship with a market manager and you tell them, this is my dream. Sometimes it's the way that you express yourself. I'm starting a new business, but you have been 10 years on a restaurant and you are purchasing the restaurant that you have been working for. That's not a startup. That's existing business, right? But if you mention that it's a startup, we probably will say, no, we are not interested, right? That's why it's important to develop the relationship, because every time that you provide a little piece of information to the banker, if that banker is paying attention, we can become your best cheerleader to put that together in front of an underwriting committee and say, listen, it's not a startup. They have been working for 25 years. They already pay for the restaurant. They just need to operate on their own, right? Those are little things that I believe that we need to learn and put in practice in order for us to be able to access to more resources.
Yeah, and let me just piggyback on that. I mean, in terms of connection and relationships, it's not just what Luis is saying and Libby are saying, sort of the client and banker relationship. It's also our relationships. Mm-hmm. We have really good relationships. So if GDEC is going to say no to you, it means that you really have to go back to the drawing board and really analyze what you're doing, because if we've gotten a referral from these folks, we've gotten the information and we're vetting them. We also send people bank. When we see someone who's bankable, we don't work with them. We send them to these guys. Mm-hmm. But also, we are part of what is called the New York CDFI coalition. So we pass opportunities along to each other. We're working together in order to say yes. None of us want to say no. None of us. There's no one who wants to say no, because it's not good for business overall. Sometimes we have to say no because there's just a little bit of misalignment between your dreams and the realities. But remember, when you walk in through a financial institution's door, whether it's a CFI or a bank, you're walking in and you're seeing a network of different organizations and institutions, because we'll pass opportunities along to each other, things that fit. It may fit with Columbia or Valley, or may fit with us, but we'll pass them along, and that's really important to know.
Can I add something? No doesn't mean there is no hope. No just means that is not the right time. And it's very interesting because some people that would apply like before the end of the year, they don't qualify based on last year numbers or this year interim numbers, right? But in March, they can be considered just because they decide to change something. Let me tell you, we have Senor Sangria. Took us 2.5 years to allow him to access $650,000 SBA loan. Why? Because he didn't want to file their taxes in a way that was attractive for a financial institution. Now, he just announced this week that he's going national. But he was able to do that because he took $500,000 at one point, and he learned the process and put the business in a better position to access $850,000. And with that money, he just launched his business nationwide. And I'm also the president of the fan club of Senor Sangria. If you never try it. There's coming 3 flavors: white, red, and apple.
Free
raspberry.
advertisement. This is, see, you want people to be ambassadors for your
Luis,
business. That's all I'm saying.
Did he bring samples? That's
I have it on my car.
We'll follow him to his car.
Yeah, to add to Louis' points, what you just said, right, about the tax returns, how they need to be submitted and all that stuff. One thing what I learned helping my husband with his small business, never commingle the money, never use your business funds to pay for the personal needs, because at the end of the year, it's just going to be disaster. You're not helping yourself. You're going to get yourself in trouble, and it's not going to help you. So that's why we have operating account that you pay the bills. Then you have a business savings account that hopefully you can save the money, and then you have a personal checking account, because at the end of the year, if you want to grow and get to the next level that you need a loan, as Louis said, your finances needs to be in order for you to be able to qualify for the business loan.
Now, cash is king. But financial institution doesn't like cash. If you say that you have 100,000, you better have it on the bank account, not on the matrix, because we get pictures of cash.
Yes.
And the first thing that we say, is this legal or no? But people keep saving money under the matrix, expecting us that we can consider that for an analysis, and we cannot, right? As I say, is develop the relationship. Wherever you need, if you have the conversation with the market manager and that person guide you, you will be able to access to many different ways in order for you to solve. Now, one more question. It's a question. Like, how many times did you get, when you ask the question, how much money do you need? How many times did you get a straight answer?
Not often. I don't know.
Usually the answer is, how much can you offer me and how fast you can get it to me?
Yeah.
Now, if you approach a financial institution, you better have the number clear. Like if someone come to me and say, I want $375,085, I will be, what? Because they did the homework, they know what they need. And that is different if you are purchasing equipment than if you are asking just for working capital. If you do the homework, when you come to any financial institution, And we know they are using 100,000 for this, 100,000 for this, 150,000 for that. Is easy for us to understand, because in the case that you cannot qualify for the full amount, we can start doing like little by little, and we know how we can partner with other financial institutions or other government agencies or non-for-profits, because at the end of the day, what we really want is to help you to grow. That's the entire process. But it's not, like, one of the problems that we see is that people don't grow because they don't want. They listen to people that own businesses that are smaller than them. And if someone that doesn't own a business is giving you advice, don't consider that advice. Just take advice from people that own businesses bigger than yours.
Correct.
Because they already pay and they already spend the time, right, trying to get the things right.
And I think that the word here is pre-work, right? Before you make it to the bank, you have to do your homework. You have to understand your business. If every time somebody asks you a question about your business, you're like, and if you don't have faith in your business, if you don't know your business inside out, it's very hard for someone else to trust your business without even looking at the numbers, right? Right now, we didn't get many answers about the credit scores and the minimums and the maximums. It's because there is flexibility. They have flexibility to work with you, with your business plan, with where you're at in your life and meet you halfway. But again, if you don't understand the business that you're in, the industry that you're in, if you don't understand the numbers, then it's very hard for any of these banks to allow you any flexibility in terms of capital. Because again, giving you a loan assumes risk. And this is one of the things that business owners often don't understand, right? We just want money. And if you have it for free, please give it to me as well. But
No, I just want to say, building relationships is 3 steps. It's visibility, credibility, and profitability. Those that are here today that own a business have better chances compared with those that are not here today. Why? Because we have an opportunity to have a conversation. And we probably met in another event, All of a sudden, we know a lot of things about your business without you even telling us all the details, right? But it's easy for us to become a cheerleader and say, listen, they have been working for the past 5 years. That is a better summary than if we say, no, they just started, right? No, they have been working on that industry for many years. And as I say, sometimes opportunities comes. Like sometimes we get calls that say, we are trying to fund women in business or Latino businesses or African American businesses in this specific area, right? But if we don't develop the relationships on those areas, it will be very difficult for us to realize that, right? And sometimes we end up calling the same people because they are the ones that have all the documents ready. They are the ones who attend all the events. They have the ones that are active. And sometimes on paper they don't look that good, but in reality, we believe that they put the effort and the time and the energy to make that business successful.
I think that's a great answer. Now let's move on to more technical things. How important are business plans when approaching you guys? And this is something I'm personally scared about, right? Because there tend to be 17 pages and, you know.
No.
But I want to make sure that effort is put right where they deserve, right? So I know that 10 years ago, if you don't have a business plan, you don't even talk to a banker. What does that look like today?
I think it also depends on the industry and what you want to do, right? If you would ask me, do I have a business plan for my husband home improvement company? No. Do I know how to write one? No, but I know that they are important, especially for the startup businesses. When you have the plans, it is really important because you need to also be able to calculate what you need, what you expect to make, if there is also part of the succession plan, who's going to be involved with this business plan. So listen, it's something that is definitely important, but I also think that not every industry, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, needs a business plan.
I mean, we're in a different situation because I think, with the level of funding that we provide, we don't ask for business. If you have a business plan, great. If you've even sketched something on a piece of paper, great. I'm a big proponent of the business model canvas. For those of you who haven't checked that out, I mean, I teach a course on it as well, for GNAC. So, but what I ask when I speak to a potential client is I want them to understand. I want them to explain to me what the business model is. And whether it's on a business plan or a business model canvas, I need to understand what their plans are, what their market is, who's their target customer. Really critical, because if someone says everyone's my customer, then no one's their customer, and they really don't know what they're doing. So whatever it is, I don't want to tie it into a business plan, but whatever model or whatever planning document you may have, it may not be a 60-pager. Given the fact that if someone comes to us for a $15,000 loan, there's no need for that much detail for us.
I mean, I remember that we went to visit a customer, and we asked them, like, how do you operate your business? We was looking for a business model. Like, you purchase something for $1 and you resell it for $2. That's a business model. We just want to understand how you are able to make money, right? And he said to me, like, no, it's a secret. It's a secret. Yes, this is better than Facebook. And I look at him and say, do you think that Zuckerberg came to me asking for money? Like, he didn't need it. I mean, just trying to explain to me on a simple words, like, this is what I do. I purchase supplies from this store. I know how to do this with those supplies, and I'm able to sell it to this group of people. And let me tell you, sometimes with that, they are very specific with the target market. We are ready to support them because they tell us, like, I have a niche of individuals that purchase these products. And even if I don't eat that product or I don't understand the product, if I realize that that group of people are willing to pay that kind of money for that product, we will be ready to support them. And the more specific, the better, and the bigger, the better. But in some cases, it's not about how many people are willing to buy something from you. It's also how much they are willing to pay for something that you are producing, right? And we have really good examples. I remember is one individual that he do wigs with natural hair. But those are like art, like those are pieces of art. Like, you look at them and you say, wow, this is like out of this world. And people are willing to pay. And he focused on patients from different illness that they really need that. And he offered just not the aesthetic part of the wig, but also like the human part. And those are type of things that is easy for us to understand. The best thing that could happen for a small business owner is that the market manager become your cheerleader. Because in many cases, like for example, people come to us asking for a loan, and we find them a gig. Like we have example right here. Mozzarella attend one of our business mixers, and at that event, they meet someone that ordered a party for 100 people, right? They was not looking for money. He was not looking for a food vendor, but they met at the branch and they do business together. Maria and Miguel, they just served the food for the recent event that the governor hosts here. That was the first sale that they make to the government agency. That was our new process. They need to register through like 3 different websites, and that was a challenge, but they did it. And what I'm trying to tell you is that if you are willing to do the work, you will find people that will be willing to assist you through that process. And if you have customers, you don't need money, right? The best way to finance your business is through your customers, not through us. But financial institutions, we are here if you need equipment, if you want to open a second location, or a third or fourth, or if you want to grow, we are ready to assist you on that process.
That's great, and I think that is the opportunity that is often missed, right? The 3 of you have said during this panel that look for money when you don't need it, right? Mm-hmm. And I think we as business owners think otherwise, right? I need the money now, and somebody better give it to me, right? And we forget the preparation, and we forget the building a relationship piece of banking. So my next question is, it doesn't sound like you turn anybody down, you just refer them out to someone else. But are there any resources or technical assistance that your own organization offers or that you refer them to when you must say no right now?
I mean, we guide them to, when we see that someone is willing to take a 12-week class or a 15-week class or an 8-week class, right? That they attend many events, that they participate on many functions. We see commitment. And for me, that is no price that you can. Those are the ones, and it's funny because people complain. You always help the same people. No, they are the ones that show up every time that we say something. Hey, we are gathering at this place in Trenton, Patterson, everywhere. But they are the ones who express the interest. And for me, I insist, it's the 3 steps: visibility, credibility, and profitability. Let me tell you a journey. Last year, around September, around this time, someone called us and they called the NJDA, they called the county, and they called me, say, Luis, the landlord just wanna finalize my lease. I only have until December to find a place. And he was in panic. And I was saying wow, that's a good opportunity. This is the opportunity for you to purchase your own building. I said, what are you talking about? There's no buildings around here. He said, no, let's find one. We make a few phone calls. We start the process. We really called many people until we was able to find the space. And recently, less than a month ago, we went to the grand opening of the brand new location for a flower company, distribution company called Paradise Flowers. And that's the perfect example. Sometimes when you are a business owner, it's a lonely journey, and you're by yourself, and you you're really scared, right? But if you talk to the right people, sometimes you find an opportunity. This is perfect. This is a way. It wasn't for call that landlord and say, thank you. Now I'm in my own space, because he had been in the previous space for 17 years. Usually commercial loans are 15 years. He almost paid that building twice, right? Now he owns his own building. Those are the type of people that you wanna be surrounded of, that they will point you in the right direction, and they will partner. And we don't have a problem. We can chip in 15, and 20 just to make something happen if it's the right business and if the character of the business owner is the right one. But sometimes people call us and say, I'm sorry, I'm away, I cannot support you, because every time that I ask you to attend this event, take this class, they are helping you to learn something new. They say, I'm busy. I don't have someone who's helping me. No. When you have the interest, you will be able to do it.
Thank you so much for that. Libby, are there any resources or technical assistance that you offer to the businesses that unfortunately you have to say no to?
I take everything very personally, so we have to say no to somebody. Drives me crazy, because I was there, I came here with nothing, and then you're trying to do the best what you can. So to your point, you also do not try to listen to the customer and see, are they willing to listen, or they are being very defensive, or they have answers for themselves, and then try to put them in somebody like this. And we have connections. I have been in banking for 21 years, so if we cannot do it, but there is another mortgage company, there is another bank that they can do it. So again, it goes back to the relationships. Once we know what you need and we cannot do it, we definitely help you. And even at the bank, there are so many different ways how you can get money to your own business. I remember when my husband when we used to flip the homes, I was like, oh my God, how the hell are we going to pay all these bills? And I wasn't able to sleep at night. I was like, Jesus, what did we get ourselves into, right? And then I'm thinking to myself, why I didn't think of applying for the Home Depot credit card and Lowe's credit card, that they offer you the free financing for 6 months, so you don't have to pay anything, you use their money, right? So again, whatever I learn, and I have the small businesses or people coming to us, always try to use somebody else's money, not your money. But again, it comes with experience, with managing the money, and having the right people around you that they can guide you and tell you those are the things that you should be doing.
Yeah.
Perfect, thank you.
No, those are great points. So for us, we are a technical assistance institution. So I'm going to give you very specific information if you want to write this down. Okay? Number one, we have a program called Backstop. That's our technical assistance sort of umbrella. And Backstop. And under Backstop right now we have 3 tracks, and we're going to add 2 more over the next year or so. The first track, track 1, is a bookkeeping technical assistance service. Now, we offer a QuickBooks license, an Essentials, QuickBooks Essentials license, and 50 hours of QuickBooks training and bookkeeping assistance, okay? 50 hours throughout a year for $300. Track 2, we have a relationship with Dun & Bradstreet where you can build your business credit, because everyone comes to us, as these two fine people mentioned many times, people come to us and we analyze them through personal credit. What we want is we want to look at clients and build their business credit. Again, for $300, we subsidize, highly subsidize this program for over a year. You'll work with Dun & Bradstreet and you'll build your business's business credit. So that's a process. Track 3, if you want to build your website, if you want to redesign your website, if you want social media marketing strategy and implementation, for $300 for a year, you'll have experts working with you. So we have different vendors from the community. Some of them are our clients, some of them are just experts in their field. And what we do at GNIC, we raise funds to highly subsidize these technical assistance programs. So here's my pitch to you. We need Backstop clients. I said it as slowly as I possibly can. Okay, we need Backstop clients. Why? Because we raise funds for it and we need to spend money. So if you're interested, call us. Go to gnecorp.org, check us out. We have others, and one of the things I wanted to mention is I look at us as sort of the head of an octopus. Why? Because when people come to us, we will send them to different organizations. I mean, you know, in Senia's past history, she worked very closely with us and she referred, you know, first of all, you got us a lot of money, so thank you. But she referred a lot of different programs, but she knows that what we do is if someone comes and we can't offer them, let's say someone wants to write a business plan, I don't want my staff to work on a business plan. But you know who does? Great job? Eiffel. So we refer people to Eiffel, or Rising Tide Capital, or Q'd, or whoever it may be. We'll refer. Yeah, SBDC, exactly. We refer, and we all refer to each other. So that is kind of a key around our technical assistance program. We'll do an intake, we'll analyze what your need, and then we'll put you in different programs. And the last thing I'll mention, because of the Backstop, because some people say, hey, wait a minute, Victor, you guys get grants for this. Why do you charge us? We charge because you have to have skin in the game. Because if you don't, I hate to say this, people just blow us off. And it's the truth. So if you're getting $5,000 or $6,000 value, and if you're a business and you're serious about your business, you shouldn't have a problem paying $300 for the service.
I just want.
For the $300? Yeah, there is. You send us a check. That's the payment plan. You just pay.
I just want to mention something, and I want to use my chairman of the Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce hat. That when I was working at the Intersect Fund doing microloans, yeah. And I thought that everybody will get approved. And people get declined for a $2,000 loan like 12 years ago. And they say, no, but what we can do with those that we decline? And we start the Hispanic Business Expo, which is the largest Hispanic Business Expo in the Northeast. Last year we have 150 exhibitors and over 1,500 attendees. Those are the solutions that we find when we understand there is a need. But if people don't show up, if they don't use the resources that are available, they won't be able to get more grants in order for them to perform. Now, that's why we developed the Hispanic Entrepreneur Training Program, which is 15 weeks, is free, but we select, out of 250 businesses that apply, we select the 50 that have the highest growth potential. And we have LETS, Latina Entrepreneur Training Series. You don't need to be Hispanic to apply. Just what happened is, in order for us to get the funding, we need to pitch it that way, but it's open to everybody. And this year at the graduation, an African-American woman made the speech, and I cried and say goodbye to a cargo van, but I was in tears because she said that she didn't believe that she was welcome to our class. And she graduated at the top of the class because she felt that she belonged to the familia. And the last one is for those that are trying to access to the procurement opportunities, we have a bonding class that is completely free, funded by the NJEDA, and is focused on helping businesses to create capacity in order for them to access government contracts and corporations. Because when you get a big contract, you will need to have bonding, and we are not prepared. It's like getting a loan, but on steroids. Like, it's a different process, but it's also based on personal credit history. As I say, it's other nonprofits and government agencies that we plug in and out in order for us to make sure that you get the resources that you need. But it's up to you to take advantage of them, because we cannot force you to take advantage of those opportunities.
One question here, just show of hands. How many of you have been to the NJEDA website? Do it.
Yep.
Get to the NJEDA
All
website.
of you guys.
Yeah,
why
it's
you
very,
didn't-
very important.
You just apply for a grant through them.
Yeah, it's really, there are a lot of different opportunities through NJEDA that are really, really important. You know, the state is very active in the economic development sphere, whether it's lending, education, and all that, all those things. So, you know, there's different pillars to success, right? There's obviously the private sector. There's, you know, there's institutions like us which kind of straddle, and of course there's government. So for technical assistance, definitely, and also call up your local universities, community colleges, and things of that nature. We just saw that great ad for Middlesex College. So, you know, they must have some free sessions and all that you can learn from. And again, it's all also about the networking. When you go to these things, who knows? I always say, you might meet a vendor, you might meet a partner, you may meet a client, right? You'll never know.
There's an abundance of resources
Yes.
out there, and you know, any of them are happy to help you navigate. We ourselves at the Office of Business Engagement for Middlesex County are also, you know, very glad to help you navigate the state, local, and county resources, nonprofit resources, private and for-profit resources out there. And I know we're coming short on time, so I wanted to give anybody an opportunity to ask any questions that they may have for any of our panelists. Yes.
I had a business plan that I worked on very hard because they're not easy. But then it's so many pages, I was wondering, should I just do like, I started working on a proposal, you know, to narrow it down so that you can just know what I do, what I'm looking for. Is that necessary before I get?
If you have a business plan, you should always have an executive summary. So you do. So that the executive summary should be the basis for many of your, you know, for much of your proposal language. I mean, you're not going to send out, for the most part, most people won't ask you for a business plan immediately. They'll ask you for an executive summary.
Correct.
And that should be more than enough to get conversations going, especially if you're submitting proposals, and you know, that's kind of my 100% job in sending proposals. One of the things is, if you're sending it cold, whether you send a 60-pager or a 3-pager, it's going to be hard to crack, but I bet people would rather get a 3-pager than a 60-pager because that'll be deleted quickly. But the executive summary is the key, and what you want to do is try to be able to get in front of that funder before you submit it, so that way you truly understand how to craft the language and highlight some of the key concepts and tie it to the mission statement and some of the key wording that the grantor has in its mission statement or its deliverable, so that way you can sort of massage that executive summary.
9 pages.
Yeah, well, 9 pages is better than 60.
Listen, I will focus on the target market,
Yeah.
Correct.
your ability to access those customers, and your ability to charge them as much as you can.
So I can't make it 3.
Yeah, because if you tell me that you have a niche of the market that nobody is attending, or that you are able to charge them twice as much as the competitors, now you got my attention. Because remember, the best way to finance your business is through your customers, right? But sometimes people say, no, I have this plan. I want to find people that are, I don't know, 7 foot tall, right? You say, okay, don't look in New Brunswick because we are not, around here, we are not that tall, right? But sometimes people forget we check the demographics. I mean, we walk through every town, right? We are aware of many things that we don't need a report to tell us what is happening, right? But if you tell us in a summary, like, this is what I'm doing, this is the market that I'm trying to access, this is how I will like crack that market, and this is how much I will be able to charge, that's enough. Because we know how much you will pay in order for you to serve those customers.